Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marco, and today I'm going to show you how to make a procedural rock, specifically andesite. This is just a subdivided cube with a shader that controls the displacement along its normals. So, let's jump right into Blender. Let's start by deleting everything. Open a shader editor area on the left. Add a cube object to the scene and add a new material. Switch to the Modifiers tab and add a subdivision surface modifier. Check Adaptive Subdivision. Switch to Rendered mode and add a sky texture. Lower the exposure of the scene. Set the object shade to smooth. Set the look to high contrast. Set the dicing rate of the viewport to 2. Switch to the Material tab and set the displacement method to displacement only. Add an object coordinate node. Add a vector node. This can be used to change the look of the rock when we are done. Add a Voronoi texture node and set it to N spear radius. This will be used for the color of the base of the rock. Add a noise texture. Multiply it by the previous Voronoi so that we get more variation. Let's manage the map values using a map range node. Add a noise texture and control its contrast with a map range. Also increase the distortion. Multiply it with the previously created map. Add a mix color node and connect the map to the first color. Add a noise texture and use a greater than math node to get a high contrast map. This is going to be used for mushrooms and moss present on the surface of some rocks. Add another noise texture and decrease the scale. Add a map range to increase the contrast. And multiply it by the previous map. Use it as the factor of the mix color node. Let's add a map range from the first noise texture and increase its contrast. Add a mix color node and choose yellow for the first color. Choose a darker yellow for the second color. Connect it to the other mix color node. As you can see now, we have the rock and the moss colors. Add a noise texture. Connect a greater than math node so that we get a high contrast map. Increase the roughness parameter. This is going to be used for faking mushrooms on rocks. Add another noise texture. Decrease the scale. Add a map range to control the contrast. And multiply it by the previous map. Add this map to the moss map and check the clamp checkbox so that the result doesn't exceed 1. Duplicate the mix color node. Use the mushrooms map as a factor. For the mushroom's color, add a noise texture and increase the size. Add a color ramp node and use it to define the colors. Connect it to the mix color node, and here we go. You now have moss and mushrooms. Let's add another mix color node. Also add a noise texture and increase the size. Add a map range to control the contrast. We are using this map to give some random white spots to the rock. Add another mix color node and set the color to dark gray. Add a Voronoi texture and set it to end sphere radius. Now add a greater than math node so that we get a high contrast map. This will be used to add small random dark speckles to the rock. Add a noise texture, and we determine the values by using a map range node. This will be used for the roughness of the rock material. Add a mix node and use the moss map as a factor. Finally, connect it to the roughness socket of the principled node. Also connect the color to the base color input. Now let's duplicate the mix node and use the same factor as the previous one. This time connect it to the diffuse roughness of principled. And now we only need to add the displacement. So let's add a noise texture. Add a mix color node and set it to add. Connect both the object coordinate node and the noise outputs. Disable, normalize, and change the noise parameters as shown. This will be used for distortion. Add a Voronoi texture and connect the distortion as vector coordinates. Decrease the add factor and decrease the scale of the Voronoi. Connect a power math node to the Voronoi texture and set it to 2. Now add a displacement node and connect the previously created map to the height. Finally, connect it to the displacement of the material. Now let's multiply the height by a smaller number. Duplicate the map. Connect the object coordinates. Set the Voronoi texture to distance to edge. Also change the scale of the noise. Change the scale of the Voronoi. Connect a map range for getting a high contrast map. Multiply by a lower number. Then add it back to the previously generated map. Finally, connect the principled shader to the material output, and here we go. You made it. Thanks for following this tutorial to the end. I hope you found it helpful. Bye, and see you in the next one. Have fun!